What if I told you that we have been lied to when it comes to this idea of needing more willpower and self-discipline to break old habits? How do I know? Because I happen to be the queen of helping people overcome negative, unwanted, bad, pesky habits. Shall we get into this? Okay. Now, you might call this bad, unwanted habit procrastination, self-sabotage, addiction, craving, overeating, overworking, overgambling, you name it. Whatever that unwanted behavior happens to be, plug and play here, okay? It could also be called anxiety or fear or laziness or, I've heard it all before. So first of all, I know that on the flip side, there's often a lot of shame and guilt and blame and remorse, regret, and all that other negative self-talk that follows this bad behavior, because the person keeps telling themselves repeatedly, I should be able to break this already. I should be better than this. I should be stronger than this. I should have overcome this already, which, as Tony Robbins says, should all over yourself. How's that working for you? Exactly not. So also, no, I'm not saying that breaking this habit wouldn't be a good idea. Obviously, yes, it would be a good idea. What I am saying, though, is you do not need more willpower or self-discipline. Here's the proof. What do you think it might take for you to be able to consistently, repeatedly, committedly continue this bad behavior? You can always depend on yourself. Yes, every single day people smoke, and for some reason they never miss a beat, never skip it. They just, right? Smoking is such a good example. Drinking, working, exercising too much, whatever that might be. So willpower literally is not, because do you see how much willpower it takes to keep this habit unwanted or wanted? So it's not that you need more willpower. I hope that makes sense by now. Also, if you are a person who, let me just assume that you brush your teeth. Just a big wild guess. Do you brush your teeth every day? Now, there's some overachievers out there who actually brush their teeth twice a day. Yes, every single day. Can you imagine? So can you see how much willpower that might take? They even shower every day. And they also know, they have this intelligent system. They actually know when to go to a bathroom. Amazing, yes? So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a willpower problem. All right? So I hope we broke that myth, because I know we have been told and lied to that, oh, you should be stronger. You should have more willpower. You just gotta be a stronger person. And again, that's not what it takes. What it does take, and again, this post is about, yes, obviously, I also do believe that getting rid of this unwanted behavior, replacing it with something that will serve you better, absolutely, I'm in favor of that. Yes, but what it does not warrant is you to blame yourself, shame yourself, berate yourself, because that will only create more pressure, and that will cause you to even want to eat more or whatever that habit might be. Does that make sense now? So, how do we then break this habit or unwanted behavior, whatever it might be, procrastination, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, fear, anxiety, whatever it might be? By reprogramming the subconscious. Actually, let me back up. This is important. So most people don't know that this habit is run on autopilot by your subconscious. Meaning, at one point in your life, this program, this habit was installed. And from that moment on, you had become a very dependable person who will repeat this behavior day in, day out. Yes, this includes anxiety, and even panic attacks, obsessive compulsive disorders, post-traumatic stress, all of it. Any behavior, wanted, unwanted, literally falls into this category. Okay, so now that program had been installed. Now remember, not by you. You did not install the program. It was a circumstance of life. Okay? But the problem is, again, the problem is you didn't install it. Now it becomes an unconscious habit, and it shows up every time, invited or uninvited. There it is. So therefore, we must understand that this problem, this habit, is not run by your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is responsible for logic, for willpower, and decision making. The good news is you, the commander-in-chief, you get to reprogram the subconscious. That's the good news. And this is what we can do here. So again, remember, this program, habit, unwanted behavior is run by your subconscious on autopilot. It happens automatically. It is always 10 steps ahead. So when you are sitting there and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have, too late. Too late, because the program already had taken over. That's not the time to solve this problem. The time to solve this problem is way before. So in other words, in the privacy of your mind, when you can and will and want to finally take a little bit of time out of your busy schedule, and you actually want to experience this process, that's the time to begin this new strategy. And in my world, I help my clients with hypnotherapy. Not any hypnotherapy, Susan, urban hypnotherapy, which I have my own process. So that is a wonderful, natural way on how you can reprogram the subconscious, so that when the shit hits the fan, when the stress is high, whenever, whatever, when you get triggered, because that's the thing, there's always a trigger. But up until now, trigger, stress response, bad behavior. So what we can do, trigger. Now, instead of reacting to that trigger with this bad habit, you can teach yourself and program your subconscious to now respond differently. Perhaps with more confidence, perhaps with more calm, perhaps with more feeling in control of yourself, so that ultimately the result can be better health, better happiness, more money, fame, whatever that might be. You see? And again, so as a recap, it's not the conscious mind. It's not that you need more willpower. You've got to get your subconscious on board, and think about the number here. Our life, okay, 95% of your life is controlled by your subconscious. Most of the things we do, including speaking, including listening, including walking, including tying shoes, including typing, including you know how to use your phone. Could you even understand how complex, how complicated, how just... It takes a genius, okay? So if your mind can learn how to do a phone and how to understand a phone, then you can do anything. And even using your phone has become a habit. You just automatically know what to do. You don't have to overthink it, right? So most of what we do is a habit. It's a program. 95% of our life is controlled by the subconscious. That's the part that I happen to work with when I work with you. And that's the part we need to include in this process so that you can have a dependable experience. Can you now see why just working with the conscious isn't enough? It's a complete and incomplete process. Well, that sounded like a paradox. Well, it is. It's a complete incomplete process. Until you get the subconscious on board, nothing good's going to happen here. Do you see? Am I making sense here? Please let me know if this makes sense. Most people, for people who are not educated and they've not been taught and told, they will often try to use therapy or medication or reading books or watching motivational videos, right, to help them with anxiety or whatever. Good, that's a good start, because that's the conscious mind understand. Good start, but incomplete. Now we got to get the other part. We got to get the subconscious on board, which is your body, which is your nervous system, which is your emotions, which is your imagination, which is your past story, which is your conclusions, which is your beliefs. That is the regime of the subconscious, because that is what runs your identity. You see? And once you get the subconscious on board, the change is easy. That's why I explain to my clients, you should be able to see some really pleasant results even just after one session. Otherwise, what's the point? Right? And after an experience like that, that's when a person gets to see how strong they actually are, how powerful they are. Because it's not me doing it for you, it's you doing it for you. When somebody finally shows you how to work it. It's as simple as that. For me personally, one of my favorite things about hypnotherapy, my process, is that it's natural. There is no need for outside interventions, drugs, meds, side effects. Natural. We can do this virtually. And in my experience, rapid results. That's the best part. Life is short. There is no need to suffer, right? So, and when somebody actually gives you a process that works, you're going to work it. Not because I said so, because that's who you are. Very simple. So anything you want can be programmed into you, out of you, however you like to call it, because eventually that new program then becomes that new habit that you're going to feel delighted about and very pleased about and very happy about. And again, and that in itself will show you, if you can do that, you can do anything. So please don't let people tell you that you're lazy or broken or sick or just that's just how you're wired or there's something wrong with you or you're weak. No. No, it's just your subconscious running the show, running your life, sometimes even ruining your life. And if you want to put an end to that, we can do that right now. You want more? You know where to find me. See you soon.